Hi all, hi Amy. My name is LJ and today I have the honor and joy of meeting Amy and introducing Amy to you. She is a friend and a boss of a company she started a few years ago, well, like a period ago, called FromWithin Coaching. She's the founder and owner, Amy Magyar, and I'm one of her affiliate coaches.
Yes, you are.
And now I have the chance to ask her all kinds of questions. And today we would like to cover the topic of how coaching found Amy.
Ooh.
So
It
what happened?
you know what? I'm so glad you said it that way because it did find me. But I find it often finds people before they find it. It sort of like shows up and keeps knocking on the door. And that sort of happened to me. So thank you for letting me tell my tale. So I lived in Northern California and was working for a specialty retailer out there right around 2001 and 9/11. I had just moved to the Bay Area. I think I was in the Bay Area for about 6 months before 9/11. And I'm an East Coast kid by trade. So, lots to the Bay Area is so amazing. It's so beautiful. And, 9/11 happened, and I think it just sort of left everybody in shock for a lot of reasons. And it made me sort of question, even though I was loving what I was doing, I was a buyer and one of the only female snowboard buyers in the country. And it felt very good for the ego and unique. But that's not actually what I went to school for. I studied psychology and justice, which was criminal law, civil law, corrections, policing, anything to do with sort of the judicial system. And in theory, I wanted to work with the criminally insane, which is an interesting thing for a little girl from Rhinebeck, New York to say she wants to do. But for a lot of reasons, when I was graduating college, I realized it was just, it was going to be tough for me. I wasn't going to be able to put the walls up that I needed to kind of protect myself. Because when you're working with a criminally insane, you have to put up big walls. And so when I found myself in the Bay Area, I had been out of sort of the world of psychology at that point, maybe for 6 to 8 years, and was happily working in the sporting goods industry and loving it. And 9/11 happened, sort of shock. My sister decided that she lived in DC, that she herself wanted to make a change after 9/11. And it was in her career. She wound up being asked by something called a career coach to help her. My sister was a divorce attorney. So this divorce attorney, my sister, and the career coach bartered. So my sister wanted a bit of a career change, not as a lawyer, but to try to figure out how to professionally develop. And this career coach needed a divorce. So it worked out really well for both of them. So after my sister worked with this divorce coach for a couple of months, she called me and she said, "Do you know what coaching is?" And I said, "Sure. It makes athletes better." And she said, no, it's like career coaching. And I was like, what's that? And she said, well, there's career coaching and there's business coaching and there's executive coaching. Now this was, so I do the math, probably 19 years ago, right? Yeah. So, coaching was still in its infancy in many ways. And so, but when she explained to me, she said, the reason I'm bringing it up to you, Amy, is it's very much like psychology, but better in that it helps people move forward. And it's so much more positive. And those are the aspects of psychology that I loved. And so I was like, interesting. So we got off the phone. I jumped on the internet. Yes, the internet existed then. And I actually researched and found out, LJ, I literally lived in between two huge coaching schools were based in NorCal. And I literally could have walked between the two of them where my office was. So I start reading about coaching and seeing it's about helping people move forward, and it's about strength based. It's not about your weakness. And I mean, this was just ringing on my bells. So I did exactly what everybody does when they find what they really want to do. I ran away from it. I mean, far. Like, okay, I physically couldn't run away from it because I had two schools sort of on either side of me. But what I did was I made up all these excuses. Oh, I wouldn't be any good doing that. Oh, I don't really have the time to go to school. Oh, I don't think I can make any money doing it. Oh, I just travel so much. I don't know that I'd have the time. Oh, I don't know if it's for me. Really, the one thing that I just said was true, which is I don't know that I'm going to be any good at it, which is a lie. I knew exactly that it would be really amazing for me, but I was scared at failing. I mean, full on freaked out that there was this thing that was so perfect for me. I didn't want to screw it up. And so I did what every human being truly does when they find their true love or their real career is they stay away from it for a while and they dance around it. And so what happened was I danced around it for about 2 to 3 years. And I moved from Northern California to Indiana for a short stint, danced around. I mean, I stalked coaching. I was constantly on every night, like, who's a new coaching school and a coaching, this was new, blogs were new. So, but I was doing everything but actually doing it, right? So I land a great job, and it was my final job in corporate America, as corporate as it could have been. It was at Burton Snowboards in Burlington, Vermont. And I landed there and was one of a female sort of considered middle management there. And there weren't a lot of us females to begin with, but definitely in middle management, there wasn't a lot. And what Burton had decided, and I didn't know this, was they decided to actually bring coaching into Burton and offer it first to the women of Burton. And so Donna Carpenter came into my office, sat down and said, we are going to bring coaching into Burton. And we're wondering, first of all, do you know what coaching is? And I just sat there. Oh my God, yes, I do. And she said, would you want to be a part of this coaching practice? Would you want to learn about coaching? Would you want to be coached yourself? And it literally was, LJ, the universe going, can't run from it now. You can't make an excuse, right? Nope. We're going to hand it to you. You've been running away from it for basically 3 years. We're going to hand it to you. And so sure enough, the coaching center of Vermont, Leah Belair and Liz Dallas, who owned it at the time, brought coaching into Burton. I was with, I think, a group of 12 amazing women who I'm still friends with to this day. And we all had so many light bulb moments. So first being coached, and then secondly, learning coaching. And so I realized the stories is going a little bit long, but what's so amazing is that it literally found me. I'm so grateful that my sister even used the term. But when I'm coaching coaches and they tell a similar story of that they've always danced around coaching, or they've always coached, but they didn't know that's what it was called, or that everybody always says you're so great working with people, is that we often are so scared to actually lean into what we really want and who we really are. And it took courage. So even after going through the coaching program and continuing to go to school outside of the program that was offered at Burton, it was still a really scary step to go out on my own and walk away from a very sort of considered safe salaried position. And yet, at that point, I had fallen so in love with coaching that I knew that I was always going to be okay, because it utilizes all of my strengths, strategic individualization, positivity, woo, and connectedness. So it literally, those strengths of mine help me be the coach that I am. But I never judge people when they say to me, oh, Amy, I found out about coaching 4 years ago and have just been scared to proceed with it, because that is absolutely my story, is that we do tend to run from the things that we really want because we are afraid of failure. And I think that allows me to be so just aware when anytime any of my clients say, that really scares me, I know we're on to something.
Yeah.
Because they care, right? So
Yeah.
absolutely, coaching absolutely found me. It found me, and I've been coaching for 15 years and a full-time owner of a coaching practice for 9. So that just feels really even weird to say that out loud. Oh.
And what, if you look back on this journey, where did you start? With what kind of coaching did you start? Because now you are a coach for coaches
Yes. Yeah.
or a mentor coach. So what was that from the beginning, the path, or?
It's a great question. I think, LJ, I did the thing that every coach tends to do, even though in their mind they sort of have these are the people I want to work with. They just start coaching. And so I coached, helped somebody stop smoking, weight loss, career change, being a better communicator. I mean, I actually did coach somebody in their career as a professional clown. So, I mean, it wasn't just, that you're coaching a specific industry or career and career change. I mean, I coached a clown. I don't know many people that can say they did that. What I noticed was that it was easier for most people to bring to their coach the fact that career was a challenge for them. And so because I had led a really sort of diverse life myself with career, I was really drawn to helping people in their career. And I think the natural progression was as I started to work with people who started to want to start their own businesses, or a couple of coaches found me and said, how did you do this? When I started working with coaches, I started realizing, this is how I can really help, because I can help people with imposter syndrome like I had truly lean into who they are and become coaches, because ultimately, if I can help a coach become a coach, they will then help 1,000 people. So instead of just helping one person, I conceivably could help one person reach 1,000 people. And that was what was so important to me, was making sure that I spread the language of coaching.
Yeah.
More than having to be the one that is known as the coach. So, I think what's so important that I know now is, had I been a little bit more specialized in the beginning, I might have been able to get to this specialty that I'm in now quicker. I would have been a little bit more true to myself. But I think you're trying to figure out who are my people, and you coach what you know. So I very much, even though I never smoked, I'm really good at sort of starting and stopping habits. So, it's interesting. And I just think now, being in that recovery phase of an imposter syndrome, coach with imposter syndrome, I'm able to help people with imposter syndrome who are coaches be able to start a practice or get out of their own way if they have a practice, and help them move forward with that. So it's pretty funny how it all comes back around. But, and I still learn to be a good coach every day. Every day it's a practice.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that you have to go through a certain process to work with others, because then you know what they're going through. And it might not be the same, but at least there are similarities.
Yes. Yeah. There are universalizable themes. Every time you and I coach somebody, there is something that is going to resonate in their story with us, and something a question that we're going to ask, we hope, that resonates for them, that clicks. And so it's a gift for both ways, for sure.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a good reminder about how far I've come personally when somebody brings a challenge that they had that I had 8 years ago. Sometimes it's really humbling when somebody's bringing a challenge that I had last week.
Yeah.
Right. So, we are still honing our craft. The good thing is that as a coach of coaches, I can help other coaches, because their stuff, their imposter syndrome, their fear, their relationship with money, it's not my relationship with money. It's different. So it's really easy to work with people, like, with anything, right? It's so much easier to help somebody with theirs than it is with mine. And that's why I think it's okay for coaches to have coaches. And I think sometimes people get shocked when I self-admit, oh no, gosh, I have a business coach, and then I have a regular, I call it my oil change coach. This is my life coach. Just make sure I'm, I check in with her every couple months to make sure I'm headed in the right direction. And I think people expect us to have figured it all out. And we all have blind spots. What we're smart is that we know we have blind spots, and we know to get the help the second we realize that the blind spot is maybe becoming a challenge, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you for
So,
asking me that question. It's so good to think of those memories. And I actually do feel a little bit, it's a little shocking to realize how long I've actually been coaching for, because it's almost as long as me having been in the sporting goods industry. And I thought that was a long time period. So, wow. You didn't just make me feel old, but you made me realize the investment and the belief I had in myself to continue to do this even during the scary times.
yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, LJ. I look forward to continuing our conversation. Keep those tough questions coming.
Okay. You're on.
Thank you.
Thank you.